Terror groups continue to strike helpless communities. The call for justice becomes louder than the cries of fear. In Zamfara State, bandits abducted 43 women and children from Kakidawa ward in Gidan Goga district in Maradun Local Government Area. According to reports, the heavily armed bandits stormed the village at about 2 a.m. on Sunday, leaving people scampering for safety. Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has vowed to bring an end to terrorism in the country, particularly the Lakurawa group. Now let's hear from the Army Chief.
I actually visited two formations. That's the one in the Northwest, 8th Division, and the Theatre of Operations in the Northeast. Well, basically, I was there to speak with my officers and soldiers and to make them realize that there's need for us to end all these forms of insecurity in Nigeria. And I made the bold to tell them that I'm going to do things differently, and I expect better results going forward. We are eating them hard on this, at this end, that's Nigerian end. So we expect them, because what is expected is that once we eat them hard at this end, they will flee to Niger Republic. So now that the Niger Republic is coming on board, that means very soon, Lakurawa will be a thing of the past.
All right, let's bring the conversation home. Asuko, bandits abducting women, you know, this every time, abduction. Why is this so recurrent?
Well, I try to, you know, do my little bit of findings, and from what I gathered, they say some of those bandits, they have farms, you know, and when they have farms like that, this is harvest period.
Okay.
So what they are looking for hands, people who will go there and work for them. Particularly for this one, they were adopted since Sunday.
Yes.
They've not reached out to anybody concerning ransom. They've not called the police, say they are on their trail. Who don't know how far they've gone since Sunday. So, but from the little investigation I gathered, they said when it comes to this period, that is what they usually do. They adopt these women and children because they went there with heavily armed, knowing that at least the men and the women they will get, those ones will be able to work in the farm, for their own farms.
Exactly.
You know, because they deal into so many, you know, crops. So when they don't ask for ransom like that, most times, from what I heard, most times that is what they use them for.
As work as slaves for them?
Yes, for them.
Laborers?
Yes, you know. And so when they do that, at the end, what they usually do, they either leave them or marry some of them. You know, so it's a very pathetic situation. And we hope that this particular area, from what I heard, is not somewhere you can just drive into. It's kilometers away from the state capital. The road is not good. So I'm very sure that even the police that are saying that they are on their trail, it will take them days before they can even get there. And even before you get there, there are camps of bandits before you get to this Maradun.
Do they even have networks in that area? You know, all of those.
That is to tell you, they said this place is very far from the state capital. So if somewhere is very far that you start thinking about the miles that you will drive, even the police too, they will also think, because some of these areas are ungoverned. You know, so things can happen. And don't forget, this area, there was a time students were kidnapped some years back, you know, and after that we didn't hear anything. So I feel the government will have to find a way. The ungoverned spaces in Nigeria is just too much. But how do we solve this problem? I think the traditional rulers will have to help. The National Security Advisor will also have to step in.
Local government.
You know, the DSS, the local government. In this area, they have a senator. They have House of Rep members.
Sure.
You know, so it's something that everybody can...
Collective responsibility.
Yes, can work together. Because sometimes these areas, when bandits come like that, there are two things. It's either you join them or they kill you. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is why most of the areas in Zamfara,
Yes.
you have more bandits camps than any other thing. So even for the police to even get to this local government, the number of camps that they will be crossing is not easy. So it's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
And I'm very sure the governor would is not overwhelmed, but I know he will know the problems, and he would have passed this information to the right authorities.
Siki, and this is not the first time we've been hearing we will crush them, we will do this, Lakurawa and all. But now that the chief of army is saying it again, how assuring or reassuring is this?
Well, the new chief of army staff, General Oluyede, has his work cut out for him. Very, very well cut out for him. And as rightly said, every successful army chief, or defense chief, when he's appointed, that is what they always say. In fact,
they talk tough.
I remember vividly when General Buratai was appointed the chief of army staff, and he said within 3 months? He said within 3 months he was going to wipe out Boko Haram and the rest of it. Some of us were sat here and we were laughing. Until he left, he didn't do that, and he was one of the longest-serving chief of army staff. In fact, if not the longest-serving chief of army staff. Now, when it comes to issue of insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, even war, the most vulnerable are the children and women.
Exactly.
So because they are very, very soft targets. So most of these people go for them because he's talking about the bandits being strong, having a gun. Once they are coming, the men who had the inkling of it will run to the bush. They quickly run into the bush. What would a 2-year-old child do? A woman, some of them are pregnant, some are very old women, and where would they run to? Where are they running? Before they even move an inch, they've caught up with them.
Exactly.
So that is why they are always the most vulnerable. And Zamfara, Maiduguri used to be the epic center of insecurity in Nigeria. Yes. Now it has moved to Zamfara, and that's why we should be asking, what is the problem with Zamfara?
Let's not forget Niger State as well. Yeah.
Even, especially Zamfara. It is what Niger State happens once in a while. You see them going, pick up, do some. But Zamfara has been so consistent. And I want to believe that, I just want to believe that was one of the reasons why the president picked the former governor of Zamfara State as the Minister of State Defense. And I remember how many times of recent he has been to the state and he has given assurance that this issue of banditry and rest. In fact, there was time he went there, he said he was going to make sure that the thing is because he spent about 2 or 3 days there and left with that service till today.
And he's back in
Abuja. And so the military should have their work cut out. And the issue, as I've always said, is not just putting boots on the ground.
Okay.
Our security agencies should be able to build a high level of intelligence.
How intelligent is our intelligence?
That is always, you know that's the question.
Yes.
How intelligent is our intelligence? Because take it in as much as Asuko said, there were remote places, there are risks. But for goodness sake, we have local government, we have chiefs within the.
I believe DSS is always in every local government.
There's no local government in Nigeria where you don't have DSS.
DSS, exactly.
NSCDC. Yes. Those two. Then, there is no local government out of the 774 that would not have a DPO or divisional police. So how come that most of this intelligence don't get to them and this guy just strike and make it?
All right, gentlemen. Before we went on that break, I asked you your opinion due to the, many military operations going on, banditry, Boko Haram. Do you think the Nigerian army is overstretched?
Well, I would not want to give them a low mark.
Okay.
You understand that? When I mean a low mark, saying that they are overstretched. Because we have one of the potent military force, in Sub-Saharan Africa, whether you like or you don't, We have so many operations. Yes, they have so many operations.
Yes.
My concern is that these operations are in the civil spaces. And these civil spaces are supposed to be manned by the police.
Yes.
You understand?
In charge of internal security.
They are the ones, for the Nigerian army, they are supposed to be the ones guiding our borders,
territorial.
making sure that it is only when we know that the police is very, very overwhelmed. That is when we can Well, right now, what we are having is we are having these terrorist zones in virtually all the regions. Sure. Okay, and that is why the Nigerian army seems to be overstretched. Okay. But I'm not sure they're overwhelmed.
Okay.
In terms of how much the resources we are spending to curtail these terrorist attacks or terrorist operations within us, that is where you say, oh, it looks like they're overwhelmed or they're overstretched. Okay, but they are not overwhelmed. Okay. I feel that the Nigerian army can deal with this. Okay. But what we need more is, just like CKN said, more intelligence for them to be able to tackle these people. Because, for instance, if it's happening in Sokoto, it's happening in Zamfara, and they happen to know, they get the right target, and people are giving them the right information, they will deal with this situation.
Sure.
Okay, and who can provide this? It's either the residents, the local government chairman, the traditional rulers, who are all there. Because they are the locals.
They know the terrain.
Yes.
They know all of this.
And so when you pass credible information to the Nigerian army or to the military, they'll be able to deal with this situation. Okay. So they are overstretched but not overwhelmed.
Okay.
Okay. Because the police are the ones that are supposed to be doing this job.
This job.
They're the ones that are supposed to. And once it comes to these terrorists, they have to find a way of allowing the Nigerian army to just take the front row. So I feel we can deal with this situation. All we need is just correct intelligence.
Correct intelligence.
And once we have it, we'll be able to.
As a sign off, the fact is that the problem we have is that this is not a conventional war. The military is used to conventional war. If it's a war between Nigeria and Cameroon, we go all out to deal with the situation. If it's combat to combat, the Nigerian army have been trained for that. But this hit and run and
asymmetrical
becomes a very, very, very big challenge for me. And secondly, which is why I'm talking of tax. When we talk, they say, "Are you civilians? What do you know?" But I believe that probably we need to check tactics. The way we are going about it probably is the problem. Oh, we have a hit in Zamfara, we rush to Zamfara. Now, there is what is called enclave, what we might call an enclave of devil, if I use that word. Now, this should be simultaneous attack.
Multi-pronged, like different.
If we are ready, even if we don't have all the men, but don't forget, it's not just Nigerian army. We have the Air Force.
Okay.
The Air Force is there. I just read a few days ago that we are getting about 60 new aircraft or whatever, fighter jets and everything. Now, the essence of this is there should be a collaborative effort between our security agencies. Yes. Part of the problem we're having, I'm talking of intelligence, is also intelligence sharing, which our security agencies are not doing.
Okay, the Air Force and the Army.
Army gets their own, they keep to themselves. Air Force get theirs, they keep to themselves. Police get theirs. Everybody wants to take the glory.
But I thought the Chief of Defense Staff should be able to coordinate that.
That is where the Chief of Defense Staff and the NSA comes into play.
Okay.
So that can be able to have a collaborative effort. If we tackle these guys, if we say today, and let me also use this opportunity. The way we go about, our military talk too much. Our military talk too much.
Should there be media silence?
There should be media silence, for goodness sake. Because most of these guys breed on the media.
Yes.
That's why they have social. What do you think? Part of the
look at what you are watching. Look at what you are watching.
Yes. Look at what,
because they know that people will watch.
They are media crazy. Why do you think that Canada succeeded most of the time in
propaganda?
The past? Propaganda. When you put it a small thing, they put it on social media, and there's a view. If the military, it is in Nigeria that I know that military want to go on an operation. They would have told the whole Nigeria that the next week we are going to Zamfara too. Who does that? Nobody does that.
Operation.
So those are the kind of things. I think the military should speak less.
Okay.
When I say military now, I don't mean just Nigerian army.
That is
exactly. We should speak less.
Speak less. Then also, I think it's high time we start equipping the police enough.
Okay.
The police was destroyed by the military.
Yes, exactly.
Because there used to be a very, very potent military unit in the past. It used to be called Kill and Go. Do you know the days of you are very young?
I've heard
of that. The mobile police force.
Yeah, the mobile police force
used to be one of the most fatal aspects of the. I remember when we were in secondary school, in university. Our riot is not quite by this kind of police we are seeing. When there is mobile police force, they send.
And when once they come
When
out,
you
know what.
Once mobile police come, it's just like soldier is coming. With the students, we respect ourselves.
All right,
so
we're moving to our next topic, but just in 1 minute.
Yes.
Another major one is poverty and illiteracy.
I agree.
Is fueling. What should the northern governors be doing as a matter of urgency
northern
to change the narrative?
there was something I wanted to say in the course of this thing that I forgot. Out of school children in the north.
Exactly.
Out of school children in Nigeria is over 20 million now. And I'll tell you that not less than 80% is from the north. So what happens? The devils, we have always used that word, the devils find work for an idle hand. The situation where you see children between the ages of 9, 10, up to 15, 16, 18, roaming the streets every morning, using their majority system and going around begging. For goodness sake, somebody that is hungry, that cannot find food, if you give him 2,000 naira, 1,000 naira, he will go into the bush and do whatever. So, former president Olusegun Obasanjo said something some months back. He said if the out-of-school children system in the north is not tackled, that this is a time bomb that in the next 5-10 years, what will happen in Nigeria is not something. So the governors of the north, they should be listening.
We saw
they should
part
be watching.
of it during the August protest.
You saw what happened during the protest.
We saw
most of the
like
guys that were destroyed.
Exactly.
Those that were arrested, 90% of them, 95% were from the north.
Exactly.
Yes.
We need to do something as soon as possible.